One word can change everything. And what Nick just said at Greek Fest has the entire internet in complete meltdown mode. We're talking about Nicolandria, the Love Island USA Season 7 couple who didn't win, but somehow ended up winning everything that actually matters. This isn't about Nic and Olandria anymore. This is about something way bigger. Taylor's predictions are looking ridiculous right about now. Ace had everyone divided back in the villa. That whole Cierra situation still has people scratching their heads, and the critics won't shut up, even though these two are stacking money like it's going out of style. From that dating show on Peacock to national commercials, from sold-out products to what's clearly about to happen next, this Love Island story has more twist than anyone saw coming. What I'm about to reveal might actually change how you see everything. But first, hit that subscribe button real quick. Look, I know you're thinking another person begging for subs, but consider this. I'm literally out here doing investigative journalism on reality TV couples, so you don't have to. That's basically a public service. Plus, it's free, so why not?
Let's jump into what happened a few days ago that sent everyone into complete chaos mode. Greek Fest was supposed to be standard stuff, right? Nick shows up, does his DJ set, takes some photos, collects his check, moves on to the next gig. Normal influencer appearance energy. Except Olandria decided to show up a full day early without telling anyone. And what followed was basically 2 straight days of insanity that fans immediately started calling Olafest instead because she completely took over the entire weekend. People weren't just casually stopping by either. They came locked and loaded with gifts, handwritten notes, and that genuine energy you almost never see for people who were just on a summer dating show. This wasn't fake meet and greet vibes where someone's clearly watching the clock thinking about their next appointment. Olandria spent literal hours with every single person who wanted a moment, reading every letter handed to her, genuinely engaging, and you could see it hitting her emotionally in real time. The authenticity was radiating through every interaction, and fans picked up on it instantly, which only made them love her more.
But what really elevated everything was watching how Nic and Olandria moved as one complete unit, accepting gifts together, taking couple photos, and the way Nic was looking at her during every single interaction said absolutely everything without a single word spoken. This man was glowing with pride. Not just happy she showed up, but genuinely proud of who she is as a human being. Proud of what they've constructed together. Proud to show her off to his entire community. They hung out at a football game, dropped back-to-back Snapchat content that had the timeline screaming, and basically delivered everything fans have been craving since Love Island wrapped. The chemistry was jumping off screens, and anyone still questioning whether this works in the real world got their answer in the most definitive way possible. But here's what nobody's really breaking down. And this is what has me convinced we're watching something operate on a completely different level. During one of those candid Greek Fest interactions, Nic introduced Olandria to someone. And the word that came out of his mouth wasn't girlfriend. He called her his partner. Now you might be sitting there thinking, okay, what's the massive deal? It's just words, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. There's a universe of difference between calling someone your girlfriend versus calling them your partner. And anyone who's been in a legitimately serious relationship knows exactly what I'm talking about right now.
Girlfriend is cute. It's fun. It's butterflies and honeymoon phase energy. It's what you say when you're dating someone and still figuring out if this thing has real legs or if it's just temporary excitement. But partner operates on an entirely different wavelength. Partner means you're building something designed to last forever. Partner means you see this person in your actual future, not just as some vague possibility you're exploring. Partner means this person is your equal in every single way, someone you're planning to navigate the rest of your life with, not just someone you're casually seeing until something better comes along. Think about it like this. When you introduce someone as your girlfriend, you're essentially saying, this is who I'm romantically involved with at this current moment in time.
When you introduce someone as your partner, you're saying, this is who I'm constructing my entire existence around. That's not a subtle difference. That's a fundamental transformation in how you view the entire trajectory of where this is heading. And for Nic to make that shift just a few months after walking out of the villa shows you that whatever he felt for Olandria on Love Island has only gotten more intense and more concrete in the real world. This isn't some showmance that fizzled the second cameras stopped rolling. This is legitimate, and his word choice proves it beyond any reasonable doubt.
Remember, this is the exact same guy who literally had to ask someone else the day before she left what it even meant to be closed off. We're diving deep into that whole Cierra mess later, but the contrast between how he approached that connection versus how he's moving with Olandria tells you absolutely everything you need to know. Hold on, though, because it gets even better, and this is where you really start seeing who people actually are underneath the surface. Ever since Nicolandria walked out of Love Island USA Season 7, they've been absolutely demolishing the game with brand partnerships and major campaigns. We're talking about success that most actual winners don't even achieve, and they finished in second place. Let that marinate for a second. They didn't win, didn't collect that prize money, but they're operating like they hit the jackpot anyway. And honestly, maybe they did, just in a completely different way.
Olandria has been securing individual deals left and right, and we're not talking about small local mom-and-pop businesses. NYX Cosmetics brought her on as a brand ambassador, and when she promoted what fans immediately dubbed the Nicolandria lip combo, products literally sold out within hours. Not days, not weeks, hours. That's the kind of influence brands would eliminate people for. Then you've got Vaseline bringing her in for campaigns, Microsoft tapping her for promotions, and Aveeno making her a full spokesperson. These aren't minor companies testing the waters. These are massive corporations with huge marketing budgets recognizing her value and ability to actually move products off shelves. But we're absolutely nowhere near finished. As a couple, Nic and Olandria have been booking major campaigns together that other Love Island couples would commit crimes for. Sweetgreen literally created an entire salad called Ranchy Batty, specifically inspired by them and their relationship. DoorDash got them for advertisements running nationally, across the entire country. These aren't random sponsored Instagram stories that disappear after 24 hours. These are legitimate national campaigns with companies that have massive budgets and incredibly high standards for who gets to represent their brand image. Nic's DJ career has been exploding independently too, which is crucial because it demonstrates he's not just riding the reality TV wave, hoping it carries him for a few months. His Breakfast tours have been selling out venues in multiple cities, his food content is gaining serious traction across platforms, and he's constructing a legitimate, sustainable career outside of just being that guy from that one dating show last summer. They're both winning individually, while simultaneously capitalizing on the power of being together, which is exactly how a healthy power couple should operate in this industry. You support each other's individual growth while recognizing that together you're exponentially stronger. That's the blueprint everyone talks about, and they're executing it absolutely flawlessly. Now, before you bounce to the next video, you need to hear this part, because this is where things get absolutely absurd. Despite all this obvious success, despite them clearly thriving, both individually and as a couple, despite overwhelming evidence they're doing literally everything right, there's this surprisingly loud group online who absolutely will not stop complaining about them. And what exactly are they complaining about? That Nic and Olandria do too many promotions together? Let me repeat that so it can really sink into your brain. People are genuinely upset, like emotionally distressed, that a couple from a dating show are doing couple promotions together. Make it make sense, because I genuinely cannot. The entire premise of Love Island is forming couples. That's literally the whole concept, from the first day to the last day. You walk in there with the explicit, singular goal of finding love, building a genuine connection, and hopefully leaving as a committed couple. They finished second place as one of the most beloved couples of the entire season, but somehow people are shocked, appalled, and personally offended that brands want to book them together for campaigns. The math isn't mathing here, and the logic is completely absent from the equation. What makes this even more frustrating is people acting like Olandria doesn't have her own distinct brand and identity outside of being with Nic. Have you been paying even the slightest bit of attention? Did you completely miss where she's been featured in multiple high-fashion magazines, where she's secured major individual deals with NYX, Vaseline, Microsoft, and Aveeno that have absolutely nothing to do with Nic whatsoever? Where she's carving out her own distinct lane while also being part of a successful couple? This narrative that she's somehow riding coattails or doesn't have her own independent success going is not only factually incorrect, it's genuinely disrespectful to everything she's personally accomplished on her own merit.
She walked into Love Island as her own complete person, with her own established following, her own unique style, and her own clear goals, and she walked out exactly the same way, just with exponentially more opportunities and a partner who actually supports her growth instead of feeling threatened by her success. The sheer audacity of people trying to diminish her individual accomplishments just because she's also thriving as part of a couple reveals infinitely more about them than it does about her character. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this deep dive and you're still not subscribed, I'm starting to question your life choices. Just hit the button so the algorithm thinks I'm cool. I have very low self-esteem and I need this. And let's be completely transparent about what's actually happening here, because there's this massive elephant in the room people keep dancing around instead of addressing directly. A significant portion of the hate directed at Nicolandria, and specifically at Olandria for being in a relationship with Nic, has absolutely nothing to do with their actual relationship dynamics or compatibility, and everything to do with the fact that it's an interracial relationship. The way certain people discuss them, the energy they bring to every single conversation, the constant nitpicking over things that wouldn't even register on their radar if they were both the same race, it's not normal fan criticism or constructive feedback. It's something else entirely, and we all know what that something else is.
There's this bizarre undercurrent of people who claim loudly in their social media bios that they support black women, that they want black women to be loved and cherished and treated like queens, but then get viscerally upset and angry when a black woman actually is loved and cherished and treated well by someone who happens to not be black. The mental gymnastics required to hold both of those positions simultaneously without your brain short-circuiting are genuinely exhausting to witness. You cannot say you want black women to experience genuine love and happiness and then get mad when they do, just because the person providing that love doesn't meet your specific racial criteria or checkbox. Love is love, period. And Olandria deserves to be happy with whoever makes her genuinely happy. Her happiness shouldn't require committee approval based on her partner's ethnicity or skin color. This next point needs to be said even louder for the people in the back. We're almost at the end of October right now. The show wrapped in July. The reunion happened in August. It's been literal months, and people are still actively wasting their precious energy and time hating on this couple. At this point, you just have to be deeply miserable in your own personal life. There's literally no other explanation that makes logical sense. Happy, fulfilled people don't spend their limited time on this earth tearing down others who are clearly thriving and succeeding. If you're commenting negatively on every single post they make, inventing wild narratives out of thin air, and actively rooting for their relationship to implode and fail, that says infinitely more about your own internal unhappiness and dissatisfaction than it does about their actual relationship quality.
Maybe instead of obsessing over what Nic and Olandria are doing with their lives, take a moment to examine why you're so emotionally invested in their downfall and failure. Get a hobby, find your own happiness, touch some grass, read a book, learn a new skill, do literally anything productive besides spreading negativity about two people who don't even know you exist and never will. Here's where the story really comes together in a way that separates casual dating from serious relationship energy. Just weeks after leaving the villa and adjusting to real-world life outside the bubble, Olandria had a conversation with Nic where she made it crystal clear that she's not someone who dates just to see what happens or collect experiences. She told him directly, with no ambiguity whatsoever, that she dates to marry, not to waste time, not to play games, not to see where things go. She dates with the explicit intention of finding her life partner, the person she's going to build a family with and spend the rest of her life beside. That's an incredibly heavy conversation to have so early, especially coming off a reality show where everything is artificially heightened and emotions are amplified way beyond normal everyday levels. Most guys would hear that declaration and immediately start panicking internally, looking for the nearest exit door. But Nic didn't run. He didn't get scared. He didn't make excuses. He leaned all the way in. He embraced what she was saying and showed her through his consistent actions that he was completely on the exact same page about building something real and permanent that lasts.
And the evidence is everywhere if you're actually paying attention to what they're putting out. Nic recently mentioned he's not looking for a condo or apartment for his next living situation. He's looking for an actual house, a whole house with multiple bedrooms and a yard and space to grow. This man just turned 24 years old and he's already thinking about buying property, creating a space specifically designed for a family to grow in, not just a bachelor pad for hosting parties. That's not casual dating mindset. That's someone actively planning for a future that includes marriage, children, the whole traditional package. Then you've got Olandria tweeting publicly about wanting to be married and possibly have a child by the time she hits 30 years old. She's putting her clear intentions out into the universe, making her goals known publicly without any shame or hesitation. And Nic is matching that exact energy beat for beat. They're not hiding what they want or playing it cool to seem less invested than they actually are. They're both completely all in, and they're moving forward accordingly with clear purpose and intention behind every decision they make.
Their entire approach has been genuinely refreshing to watch unfold in real time. They're not rushing into major milestones just because fans are pressuring them to get engaged immediately or move in together next week for content. They're traveling together, going to Disneyland, doing normal everyday couple activities, getting to know each other deeply outside the pressure cooker environment of the villa. But they're also clearly building towards something permanent with every single choice they make together. The foundation they're laying brick by brick is solid, intentional, and mature way beyond their actual ages. This isn't a flash-in-the-pan romance that burns incredibly bright for 3 months and then flames out dramatically when reality sets in hard. This is slow-burn energy specifically designed to last decades, not months or years. And anyone still actively doubting whether they're serious about each other clearly hasn't been paying attention to the breadcrumbs they've consistently been dropping along the way.
But we absolutely need to talk about the elephant that was in the villa causing problems and stirring things up, Taylor. Taylor made some interesting comments during and after the season about Nic and Olandria's connection, specifically expressing doubts about whether there was genuine romantic chemistry happening or if they were more of a friendship couple, coasting to the end on platonic vibes. At the time, his perspective resonated with some viewers, because from the outside looking in, their connection did develop differently than some of the more explosive, dramatic couples constantly fighting and making up for the cameras. They weren't having screaming matches in the middle of the night or going through constant emotional roller coasters and ups and downs that made for great television moments. Their relationship was steady, consistent, and built on genuine friendship first before romantic elements fully developed and intensified. But Taylor's doubts have aged like milk sitting in the sun during the middle of summer, haven't they? Because everything that's happened since they left the villa has proven beyond any shadow of doubt that their connection was not only real, but potentially stronger and more durable than most couples who seemed way more passionate and dramatic in the moment.
The thing about relationships built on a foundation of genuine friendship first is they tend to last significantly longer because they're constructed on actually liking each other as human beings, not just being physically attracted or caught up in intensity and excitement. Nic and Olandria genuinely enjoy spending time together. You can see it in every video they post, every photo they share, every interaction they have publicly. They laugh together constantly. They support each other's individual goals without jealousy or competition. They show up for each other in meaningful ways. That's not friendship couple energy. That's life partner energy operating at the absolute highest level possible. And the fact that they've continued to grow closer and more deeply in love since leaving proves conclusively that what they had in the villa was completely authentic. It just manifested differently than what people expected based on previous seasons and couples. Not every great love story starts with explosive fireworks and constant manufactured drama. Sometimes the absolute best ones start with two people who make each other laugh genuinely and want the absolute best for each other without competition or resentment getting in the way.
Speaking of villa dynamics, we absolutely cannot discuss Nick's journey without addressing the entire situation with Cierra that had everyone confused and divided. For those who need a refresher on what went down, before Nick fully committed to Olandria, he was exploring a connection with someone else in the villa. The night before she was scheduled to leave, Nick literally had to ask her what it meant to be closed off emotionally. That question alone tells you absolutely everything about where his head was with that entire situation. He was confused, uncertain, trying to figure out what was even happening between them and if it was real. Compare that confused energy to how he operated with Olandria once they really locked in together. There was never any question, never any confusion, never any need to ask basic, fundamental questions about where they stood or what they meant to each other. From the moment they genuinely committed together, it was clear, intentional, mutual, and solid as concrete. The contrast between those two situations is absolutely striking when you really think about it and analyze the difference.
When that other connection ended and Nick pivoted his full attention to Olandria, some people tried to paint it as him settling for the safe choice or going with the backup option because his first choice didn't work out the way he wanted. But that's not what happened at all. What actually happened was Nick got clarity about what he really wanted and needed. He realized that the connection feeling confusing and complicated wasn't the right one for him, and the connection feeling easy and natural was exactly where he was supposed to be all along. That's not settling, that's growth. That's maturity. That's recognizing that the person who makes you feel at peace and secure is worth infinitely more than the person who makes you feel constant chaos and confusion and drama. And everything that's happened since that pivotal moment has completely validated his choice. He chose Olandria fully, completely, without any reservation, and she chose him in exactly the same way. That's why they're thriving and getting stronger while several other couples from the season have already broken up and moved on.
The dynamics inside that villa were incredibly complex and difficult to navigate, with personalities like Ace commenting on absolutely everything, other couples forming and breaking apart constantly in dramatic fashion, and the never-ending pressure of cameras and public opinion analyzing every word and gesture. It wasn't an easy environment to find genuine love that translates to the real world. But Nic and Olandria somehow managed to cut through all the noise and construct something authentic and real. They didn't get caught up in manufacturing drama just for screen time and fan attention. They stayed focused on each other, communicated openly and honestly, and made intentional choices about their relationship every single day. That's exactly why they came in second place, but walked away as arguably one of the strongest couples to ever come from the show in any season. The public voted based on entertainment value and drama during the season, but what Nic and Olandria built was pure substance underneath. And substance always wins in the long run when cameras stop rolling and real life actually begins.
Now, let's talk about what's coming next, because if you think they're slowing down or coasting, you haven't been paying attention to how these two operate. Nick has more Greek Fest tour dates coming up in multiple cities, and based on how the last one went, with Olandria surprising everyone and taking over, you already know they're going to be absolutely packed with fans. People are showing up in massive numbers now, and the energy at these events has been electric and unlike anything most reality TV stars experience months after their season ends. His DJ career is legitimately taking off now, not just as a side hustle or hobby, but as a real sustainable business that could support him long-term for years. He's building a recognizable brand, creating a distinct lane for himself that has absolutely nothing to do with reality TV fame at all. That's incredibly smart, strategic thinking. That's planning for the long-term future and understanding how the entertainment industry actually works. Because reality TV fame fades quickly, and people move on to the next season immediately. But actual skills and talent and building a real business, that lasts forever and provides real stability.
Olandria's trajectory is equally impressive and might even be more remarkable given how quickly it's all happened. With the brand deal she's already secured and the momentum she's building across multiple platforms simultaneously, we're definitely going to see more major partnerships announced very soon. She's becoming a genuinely sought-after influencer and brand ambassador, the kind of person that companies actively pursue and compete for because she brings authentic engagement and actual reach that translates directly to sales. Her unique style, her magnetic personality, her relatability, despite being incredibly beautiful, all of it is marketable in the absolute best way possible. And the fact that she's managed to build all of this while also being in a high-profile public relationship shows she knows exactly how to balance both worlds perfectly. She's not letting the relationship overshadow her individual growth and identity, and she's not sacrificing the relationship to chase individual success at any cost either. She's doing both simultaneously, and she's making it look completely effortless, even though we know it takes incredible discipline and focus.
As for the relationship itself and where it's heading next, engagement rumors are already swirling everywhere across social media. Fans are analyzing every single post, every comment, every interaction, looking for clues that Nic might be ready to propose soon. And honestly, based on everything we've covered, based on the language he's using, the moves he's making, the way they both talk about their future together publicly, it wouldn't be surprising at all if an engagement announcement came sooner rather than later, maybe even before this year ends. They're both completely on the same page about wanting marriage and starting a family together. They're both deadly serious about their commitment to each other and building a life together that lasts. The only real question is timing, and even that feels like it's coming together naturally. Whether it's 6 months from now or a year from now, there's definitely a ring in Olandria's future, and everyone watching can feel it coming. The signs are absolutely everywhere. What's genuinely beautiful about their journey is that they're doing everything their way, on their timeline, without bowing to outside pressure or fan expectations. They're not rushing to hit relationship milestones just because fans want content or because other couples from their season are moving faster. They're building their foundation properly and carefully, getting to know each other in the real world, away from cameras, traveling together, meeting each other's families and important people, having crucial conversations about the future and what they both want.
All of that groundwork matters tremendously in the long run. All of that preparation and foundation building means that when they do take the next major step together, whether it's moving in, getting engaged, or getting married, it'll be because they're truly ready as individuals and as a couple, not because they felt pressured to perform for an audience or meet arbitrary timelines that don't make sense for their specific situation. The support they're receiving from real fans, the ones who genuinely want to see them happy and successful, has been absolutely overwhelming in the best way possible. The love they experience at Greek Fest, the excitement that erupts every time they post new content together, the way people celebrate their wins both individual and as a couple, it's all evidence that they've built something genuinely special that resonates with people on a deep emotional level. Sure, there are haters. There will always be haters no matter what they do or how successful they become. That's just the unfortunate reality of being in the public eye. But the love and support far outweighs the negativity by a massive margin. And that's what actually matters at the end of the day. They're building a community of supporters who see their genuine connection and authenticity and want to root for them to succeed. That kind of support system is absolutely invaluable, especially in an industry where public opinion can shift dramatically overnight without warning.
Let's circle all the way back to where we started this entire conversation, with that one single word that genuinely changes everything. Partner. Nic calling Olandria his partner wasn't just a casual slip of the tongue or an accidental word choice. It was intentional, meaningful, and telling about exactly how he sees her and how he envisions their future together. She's not just the girl he's dating from that show he was on over the summer. She's his partner in life, his equal, the person he's actively choosing to build with every single day moving forward. That's the kind of love that actually lasts long-term. That's the kind of relationship that survives the difficult transition from reality TV to real life when cameras stop rolling and producers go home.
That's the foundation of something permanent and unshakable that can weather any storm. Think about your own life for just a second. Think about relationships you've personally witnessed that actually worked long-term and stood the test of time. They're built on genuine partnership, on mutual respect, on both people being equally invested in each other's growth and happiness without keeping score or competing. That's exactly what Nic and Olandria have together right now. They're not performing for cameras anymore, trying to get screen time. They're living real life together, and they're choosing each other over and over again with every decision they make.
Every brand deal they accept together, every event they attend side by side, every quiet, private moment they share away from the public eye, it all reinforces that fundamental choice. They're proving that reality TV love can absolutely be real and lasting. That connections formed in artificial, high-pressure environments can successfully translate to the real world. And that coming in second place doesn't mean you lost anything important. Sometimes second place is exactly where you need to be to win at everything that truly matters. Before we wrap this all up, if you haven't subscribed yet, are you okay? Like, genuinely, do you need someone to talk to? I'm here for you. Also, hit that subscribe button. Engagement announcements are coming, probably a house purchase, definitely more major brand deals, and a whole lot more content that proves all the doubters wrong.
The haters genuinely need to ask themselves one real question. What are you actually getting out of this negativity? Does it make you feel better about your own life to try to tear down two people who are clearly happy and successful? Does it validate something missing in your own life to actively root for their failure? Because from where everyone else is standing, Nic and Olandria are winning at literally everything. They're happy, they're thriving individually and together, they're in love, and they're building something beautiful that's going to last. No amount of negative comments or bitter posts or hateful tweets is going to change that reality even slightly. They're going to keep securing major brand deals, they're going to keep showing up at events together looking incredible, and they're eventually going to get engaged and married and build the family they both clearly want. Your negativity won't stop any of that from happening. It just makes you look miserable to everyone watching.
For everyone else, the real genuine supporters who have been rooting for Nicolandria from day one when they coupled up in the villa, keep that exact energy going strong. Support their content, engage with their individual projects, celebrate their wins loudly. When Olandria drops new partnerships with NYX or Vaseline or Microsoft or Aveeno, support it genuinely. When Nic announces Greek Fest tours or DJ gigs, show up if you're anywhere in the area. Share his music, help him build that career. When they do couple promotions like the Sweet Green Salad or DoorDash ads, try them out. Share your experience. Keep the engagement numbers high. That's how you actually support people you claim to love. Not just with words and comments, but with real action that matters. The beautiful thing about where Nicolandria is right now is that this is genuinely just the beginning of their story. They're only a few months out of Love Island USA Season 7, and they've already accomplished more than most reality TV couples accomplish in years. Imagine where they'll be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now when they're married with kids. If they're already calling each other partner, already talking seriously about houses and marriage and children, already building wildly successful individual careers while maintaining a strong, healthy relationship, the sky is literally the limit for what they can achieve together. They're going to be that couple that people point to as the perfect example of how to do it right, how to leave a dating show and actually build a real life together instead of it falling apart immediately, how to balance individual success with relationship goals without sacrificing either one, how to ignore the noise and the critics and focus only on what actually matters, how to prove that love from reality TV can be genuine and lasting if both people are truly committed.
And when that engagement announcement eventually comes, and you know with absolute certainty it's coming, the internet is going to absolutely break. Fans are going to lose their minds in the best way possible. The same people hating right now are going to be in the comments pretending they supported them all along. That's how it always goes. But the real ones, the people who have been here supporting them through all the criticism and doubt, they're going to celebrate like it's their own engagement, because that's what real community does. The interracial relationship hate, the complaints about them doing promotions together, the false narrative that Olandria doesn't have her own brand and identity, all of it has been thoroughly disproven time and time again. But even if it hadn't been, it still wouldn't matter at all. Because at the end of the day, Nic and Olandria are the ones actually living their lives, making their own choices, and building their future together. They're not doing any of it for public approval or validation. They're doing it because they found something real and authentic in a fake environment, and they're committed to nurturing it and protecting it and growing it into something that lasts forever. That's genuinely admirable. That's aspirational. That's exactly what love is supposed to look like when it's real and healthy and built on the right foundation.
So here's what you need to take away from all of this. Nicolandria isn't just surviving the post-Love Island reality check. They're absolutely thriving in every possible way. Nic calling Olandria his partner is genuinely significant because it shows long-term commitment and serious intentions. Their brand deal success, both individually and together, proves definitively that second place doesn't mean second best in any way. The criticism they face, especially regarding their interracial relationship, says infinitely more about the critics than it does about them. And everything they're doing right now, from the way they talk about their future to the strategic moves they're making in their careers, points to a couple that's building something permanent and unshakable. They dated on a show called Love Island. They came in second place to another couple. But they're about to show everyone what it really means to win at love and life after reality TV ends. The partner era has officially begun, and if you're not on board yet, you're going to want to be. Because Nicolandria is just getting started, and what comes next is going to be even better than what we've already witnessed. Keep supporting them genuinely, keep celebrating their wins loudly, and get ready for the engagement announcement that's inevitably coming sooner than later. This is the love story that people said wouldn't last, that critics claimed was just for show, and that's proving everyone wrong one brand deal and one partner introduction at a time. They're rewriting the rules for what post-reality TV success looks like, and we're all here watching it unfold in real time.